you first launch on a lake, you've always got a preconceived notion in your mind. It's impossible not to, based on history, based on dock talk, based on you know, how you've caught them in places in the past, and I'm no different. But when I'm running down a lake, I'm always looking for things, and I really want to go all the way to the back of this pocket. I know there's grass there, but I've got wind coming across all these little bitty points, which to me sets up for a jerkbait bite. So we're gonna stop, drift with the wind down through here, make some long casts, see if we can't get a reaction bite. It's playing your instincts. Maybe a striper. Nope, just a bass. Pretty good one though. Come here. Big old smallmouth, sure is. No, it's largemouth, he's just dark. Get out of the boat. Come here, buddy. Oh, that water looks good and pretty. Wow. You got that jerkbait all down in there. I'll grab you under the belly. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Boy, he thumped it too. Wasn't any doubt when he bit that we had us a pretty good one. Man, look at that big old long guy right there on the paws. Get you back in there, see if we can't catch another one really quick. You know, anytime you go to a lake, you're dealt with whatever the day is. And those conditions may change as the day goes on. And that's one of the biggest reasons we have so many fishing rods out at all times. You've got to be able to adapt, trust your instincts, and go along. And when I first got here, we had a little bit of clouds, jerkbait, winds blowing a little bit. And I was able to get a few bites on that. But not long after that, the clouds burned off. We were, you know, into the post-frontal situation, and you know, we still had a little bit of wind, but man, I just couldn't get them to chase the jerkbait anymore. Switched up, tied on a spy bait just to do something different. And he smacked it. Sometimes even the littlest guy will give you a clue sometimes. When I look at this bait, I mean, first thing I thought was it was a topwater, it's a prop bait, but it's not. It's a slow sinking bait that has a great rocking action that's designed to catch fish, and that when they're kind of finicky and they're not aggressively picking up other baits. And right now, I mean, it's a bluebird day, post cold front. There's a little bit of wind. The day started out with some jerkbait bites, but that quickly died. And you know, it kind of was like I looked down, I had tied it on with an interest to throw it over here on Amstead because the water's clear. I'm thinking to myself, what I've learned, this should be a bait that would get some strikes. Hey, jumper, coming out of the grass. Little spy bait fish. Oh, he's down in the grass now. Come out of there, buddy. Come here. Oh yeah, good fish. Nice healthy one too. You know, with this bait, and I'm new to it. I'm one of my first times to use it. It's this SPRO, basically a spy bait that John Cruz developed. And in theory, you know, when things get tough, this is a bait to throw. And I've been throwing a jerk bait and really hadn't had a lot of action. I've had 4 bites on this, not really honestly knowing a ton about how to fish it and everything. I've just started tying it on and learning it, and it's really, I mean, these fish have annihilated it, the bites that I've got, and it's got the twin props on there. It's kind of sleek, it's real slow. Got a little lip right here that kind of helps give it a little more action, and it's kind of in a way here with these swivels on here to help keep the bait from you know, getting thrown by the fish when they bite it. And we'll talk more about it as we catch more and learn more, but I mean, for what it's designed for and what it's doing so far, I'm pretty impressed.
We know if you found one crappie, you may have found 1,000. We know the joy of getting your boots back in the mud. We know the journey can be more rewarding than the destination. We know the great outdoors, we love the great outdoors. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Stop by today for huge savings on the gear you need and the brands you trust. Plus free 2-day shipping at basspro.com and cabela's.com.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z Series. Unleash next level performance. Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder. And by Yamaha Marine. Reliability starts here.
I don't know a lot about this technique, so I don't know if I really am jerking too soon or what I'm doing. Trying new things is always fun. Sometimes it can be a little intimidating. Sometimes be a little bit of a burden at times. You're like, I don't really want to do that. But when it comes to fishing, trying new things are something that I highly recommend because it allows you to expand your horizons and probably add some new things to your fishing repertoire that are going to help you catch more fish under a variety of conditions. One right there, little bitty guy. Not as small as I thought he was. God, you know, I was getting bit on that jerkbait earlier and they just quit. Changed to this. And I've had several bites. I don't know if I'm jerking too soon on some of them or what, but man, when I get a bite now, he's darn sure coming in the boat. A little spy baiting. I am not a spy bait expert, but I am learning with every cast and every bite. Hey dude, it's like a soft plastic bite almost. Just kind of nibbling on that feather. But what I wasn't prepared for, honestly, in this technique is, you know, I'd make a long cast and I had a lot of bites. You know, a lot of fish would hit it and eat it and take it on the back hook. I could have had the wrong color. It was post-boo bird, but I mean, I was shocked at how many little bites I had. And part of that is probably due to the feather, and there's some bluegill in here that are pecking at it. I even caught some bluegill at different times. But when a good sized fish, and by good size, a keeper sized bass, when they got around it and bit it, man, they bit it with aggression. Oh, he hit it on top. Come back and got it. Got him. Got him. Got him. That fish just kind of ticked like a soft plastic bite when it was falling, and I missed him. I knew it was a bite, and I jerked it to the top. He blew up on it like a topwater bait. That was pretty fun right there. I'm not gonna lie. A very finicky type bite, but I mean, I kind of think that's how the day is going right now. And I missed him, and he chased it back up and hit it again. Or if he didn't, it was his buddy. I'll let you go. So fun to learn new things and do new things and try new things. And my tongue tied here. You know, and you have to make yourself a lot of times do that as a fisherman to see if it fits your arsenal and learn more about that bait. You can't just throw it 2 or 3 times and think you're gonna have it dialed in. You really, to become proficient at a new technique or a new bait, you've gotta put everything else down. You've got to throw it. I'm gonna be, you know, one of the first to admit I'm learning about this bait and the technique, but I see now what John and the team at SPRO was trying to do with this. I get it, I understand it. It sinks and it kind of, as it falls down, you've got a rocking action thanks to the 2 little swivels that are built into it in the blades. It falls at a well-balanced position, casts great. And then as it's falling, you get a lot of bites, almost like you would with a weighted, you know, soft plastic bait or a weightless soft plastic bait. You feel a tick and a boom and they just run off with it. And I mean, but it's a treble hook bait. And then when you pull into them, early on, I actually took it away from a few fish. As the day went on, I just kind of let them load up, pulled into them, and I hardly lost a fish. I got to see several other fish chasing the one I caught coming to the boat. And the final thing I really noticed was, man, once you hook these fish on this bait, they didn't throw it. And a lot of that is by design. The way this bait is built, for those swivels in there are kind of not allowing that fish to have leverage, basically, to throw the bait. That was awesome. I actually had 2 fish at one time trying to take it away right there. I actually think at one time I may have had them both hooked up right then. The other one was for sure bigger, of course. That's a fishing lie, right? always the one that gets away is bigger. Such a light bite right now, you know, it's really a high bluebird day, had a cold front come through. What you would expect on those days, a lot of the bites and fishing can get tough, but this little SPRO bait has really paid off. This bait really performed phenomenally. I mean, it falls into their face. They're watching it slowly go by with a little bit of tantalizing action. Everything's just kind of wiggling and moving. The little mylar looking feathers on the end, attracting fish, and the bites were good. Probably caught a dozen in 4 hours on it, not even having a clue how to fish it. May even been fishing it wrong. I may get some interesting comments once this video goes live and is shared out there. It's like, hey man, you're not even fishing it right. But I did catch a lot of fish on it, so I know the bait, even by an idiot who has never thrown it, knows nothing about spy bait fishing. It's one I'm adding to my repertoire. I think I'll probably downsize to like 7-pound or 8-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon, and probably still continue to throw it on that bait caster, maybe a spinning rod. And I bet you on those dead calm bluebird days after a cold front, I can pick up a few big bites on this now that I've learned a lot more on how to fish it.
After the break, we switch up topics and focus on electronics, specifically Garmin's Panoptix LiveScope. Learn about different settings and how to dial your electronics in to help you catch more fish. Stay tuned.
What are them sons of fishes up to now?
Fellas, I give you the force trolling motor. It is the most powerful, the most efficient on the water.
Yep. Most powerful. We're really in trouble now.
And it's quiet, too. You can't swim here.
What a dumb bass.
At the pinnacle of super high output, 4-stroke outboard performance, you'll find Yamaha VMAX SHO, Yamaha's game-changing SHO technology. From exhilarating V6 models to the sleek inline 4s, there's a VMAX SHO for everything from bass to bonefish. It's an extended family of 4-strokes engineered for lightweight, inspiring performance, and rock-solid reliability. Discover VMAX SHO and elevate your expectations.
From sun up to sundown, day in and day out, we work hard. We play hard, and to keep us going during those long hours, we demand performance. Angle Coolers, the original high-performance cooler.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Ranger Boats, still building legends, one at a time. Engel, the original high-performance cooler. Sunline America, the strength to guarantee your confidence. And by Secret Lures, the secret is out.
Electronics, if you fished much, we know have come so far in the last decade. The original days of a paper graph or just a flasher are long gone. Now you've got big screens and detail that is unmatched, unparalleled. Navigation systems that will help you find offshore structure faster than ever, and the ability to see things live. And that to me is one of the most unique changes in electronics and fishing that has really hit the stage in the last few years. Now we've got LiveScope. And Garmin's LiveScope, I mean, you literally can see detail that is unparalleled. You can watch the littlest baits go down. You can watch the littlest fish take those baits. Whether you're an ice fisherman, an offshore fisherman, or a bass fisherman, or a crappie fisherman, the detail that it provides is just unbelievable. And it's as simple as just touching the screen like I did right there to mark things and to locate pieces of structure, navigate back to them, drop your trolling motor down, and present a cast at those locations. What I'm going to do is use my 8616 that is networked to my 8612 up front. And once I sit down on a brush pile, I'm gonna use anchor lock on my Garmin Force to hold us in position, but I'm gonna come back here on this bigger screen and we're gonna record directly from that unit so that you'll be able to see all the different buttons and all the ways that we go through the menus to set up our LiveScope for a day of fishing. What you're looking at right now is a big brush pile underneath the trolling motor. Actually, we are networked our 8612 to our 8616, and we're sitting back here because it'll make a little easier screen for us to work off of for the recordings and the menus to be able to show what all we're doing. One of the first things that I like to do when I'm using LiveScope is I'm gonna look at my distance. Right now, if you're looking at the screen, you can see I'm out to 60 feet. And you can tell that by the numbers at the top. And when I'm searching, I like about 60 to 80 feet a lot of times to be able to identify targets that are a cast range away, for instance, or a brush pile, so that I can position myself stealthily to sneak up on it. But once I anchor lock over a brush pile, what I like to do is zoom in. So, and it's as simple as on the touch screen, being able to push the minus plus buttons here, and I'm actually, you know, moving it down on the minus deal to zoom in more. And I like to get it at about 25 to 30 feet is be the distance that I like to position in. That's gonna give me a very definitive idea exactly how far away that brush pile is. From there, you'll also notice I've got a grid overlay. And you can see all the different numbers there. As you zoom in, that grid overlay will go to 2 to 4, 2 feet sizes. As you zoom out and go further, that grid overlay will be 5 foot variances there. And 5 foot, when you're out like that and you see a big gar swimming there, you're like, man, if he fills the whole screen, you're looking at a 5 or 6 foot gar. As you zoom in, what this can also tell you, and you get to those 2 foot deals, well, 2 feet is 24 inches. If the fish fills that whole deal, we've got a 24-inch fish down there. And the detail of these units is so great, you can even begin to tell and identify the species based on their fins, their actions, and what they're doing and how they relate to the cover. That's how impressive the Garmin LiveScope unit is in detail manner, to be able to tell you what you're looking at and even what direction the fish are swimming. We're over this brush pile, and you can see it as our trolling motor moves into position in different spots right here. And gain is something that I really want to talk about a lot here. For me personally, I use gain in that 68 to 75 position a lot. You can do it manually and you can do it in auto, and I think those are really important things to always keep in mind when you're looking at here. And when you look at the different positions and what you get, the more that you move it up and down to find that sweet spot, the better you're going to be. I mean, right now we're looking at fish that are actually literally swimming right under the boat. One's about 10 feet out in front of us, and they're keeper-sized fish without question. And as you gain that down and eliminate some of that noise, you're going to lose that ability to see some of those targets. For me personally, I want to see the smallest target I can. I want to be able to see that drop shot. I want to be able to see a minnow if I'm crappie fishing. I want to be able to look at a bluegill. I want to see those little fish, because where the little fish are, I'm going to find some big ones. So being able to identify and see those targets is very, very important to me, whether you run it in auto or run it manually like I do most of the time. Your sonar settings when it comes to LiveScope are really, really important. We'll talk about appearance first. Appearance is basically the different color palettes that you can look at. And there's a lot of different ones: amber, copper, black emerald, midnight blue, orange crawfish. And each one of them that you hit is going to give you a different look and a different feel to exactly what's going on below you. Now, for me personally, I first started with pretty much an amber on LiveScope, so I've trained my eye. That's the one I like the best. Now, there's going to be other people out there that are going to like different types of colors, different color palettes, and you've just got to find what works exactly best for you. Bottom fill is another unique feature here. When you turn it on, you can kind of see that it's a little more brown and dark right there, and when you turn it off, it'll give you a much more aggressive brightness to it. I like to have it off personally. That way I can tell what I'm looking at on the bottom. I know the composition a little better, because that's kind of where I started with. You as a fisherman, once again, the more time you use it, you're going to find more benefits to what that bottom fill gives you.
Coming up next, we wet a line and demonstrate how to target these fish using your electronics. Determine their species, watch them bite, and load up the boat with fish. Don't go away.
You know that guy that's always bringing in big ones from offshore? He's got secret lures. That guy that can pull out his spinning rod and start catching them when you can't buy a bite. He's got secret lures. What about that guy that can follow you down the bank and catch what you left behind? He's got secret lures.
Oh, yeah, good one.
If you're ready to be that guy, get your secret lures today at secretlures.com.
You've been waiting all week for this, and Sunline wants to make sure you're ready for it with bulk spools of all your favorite fishing lines.
That's so fun.
My whole team ready. Big trips, big things. We want it.
Bulk up with Sunline.
From the backwoods to the backyard, Sawyer's permethrin, odorless insect repellent, repels and kills mosquitoes, ticks, and other harmful insects. And with just one application lasting for up to 6 weeks, you can enjoy the outdoors as much as we do. Sawyer, we keep you outdoors.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Power Pole, Total Boat Control, SPRO, Sports Professionals, and by Wiley X, Go Confidently.
You know, the detail of what you can see is amazing as the, trolling motor moves around, and as it moves around, it moves the LiveScope transducer, and you can see my line. That's my line right there as it moves and shakes and goes up, and right over here is the top of a brush pile that somebody's made, and I found it just idling around. And you see them on your traditional or your side view. Then you can set up on it, and then as you drop down onto the fish, the bluegill, the catfish, the drum, the crappie, the gar, largemouth bass, spotted bass, I mean, they all react different, and you can actually tell a lot of times when certain species of fish are on a brush pile and how they're reacting and where they're setting up. They're biting it right now. There he is right there. There it goes. That is so cool when you can watch one come up. This is gonna be a bass right here. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a bass. You can see he's probably on the screen. Look at him. He looked like he filled up about half the screen down there. And about a 12-incher. We're on a 2-foot grid right now, and you can see his little tails moving around, and that's so neat. Whether they're 12 inches or 24, the detail of this is so amazing. And it just makes it an easy way to fish, whether you're a seasoned veteran like me or trying to get your grandkids to learn how to fish for the first time. I mean, grandkids and young kids today, they like to play video games. They're very visual. They like to touch things. They like to see things. Well, they can see everything that's going on the screen while it's happening. I mean, what better way to get addicted to fishing than being able to show them there's a fish down there. Look what he's doing to your bait. Come here, buddy. Look at that big old crappie. That's a good size slab right there. That's what you like to put in the frying pan right there. Those are sure good to eat. Just a nice old paper mouth, and you see so many of those on your LiveScope. This is such a deadly technique. You can get right over the brush pile, you can drop it straight down, you can see the reaction, you can watch the fish get excited, eat your minnow and come up. I mean, it's the funnest way to fish that I've ever done because you see it all. Things you never knew existed, you'll see with LiveScope.
I got my power pole down, stuck in the mud in the bottom of the lake, sitting so still in the wind and the waves, could even be a hurricane. I got my power pole down.
You know, when I look at the tournaments I've won, probably 4 or 5 of the boats that I've won have been on a tube. But I've completely gotten away from flipping a tube because nobody made one soft enough.
Big Bite has come with this new tour series of baits. The thing that's probably the most unique is when you look at that bait, the salt just rolls out of it. And to me, that is the reason a fish bites a tube and hangs on to it. This isn't one of those let's go out and catch some smallmouth tube. This is a let's get it done tube.